Hello? 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 I'm a weekend wrecker. It means I get to talk about Transformers on a Sunday. Woo! Now, it's actually Thursday. I've got loads to do this evening, and very little of it's actually, and not in any way belittling this situation, but I'm moving this weekend, so very little of it has got anything to do with reviews or talking about Transformers or my opinions on anything at all. However, being that this is week 1 of G2, season 2, F580G S2, I had to do something, didn't I? Now, I believe I may be somewhat out of sync with the rest of the time. I'm very sorry. I will catch up more as I become more settled with the new place. So by next Sunday, I'll be absolutely sorted because I'll have my own internet again, which will make life lots easier. I believe the subject is your worst toy. Now, I've got 2 candidates for this. Number 1, and I'll tell you why I chose not to. Number 1 is Revenge of the Fallen, The Fallen. Now, I really like this figure. I really do. I think it's excellent. Except that he has a weird. He's got a weird. I really like this guy. But there's a big problem with this guy. He's not a Transformer. His alt mode is just him folded in half. It's not anything. It's not a spaceship. It's not anything. I find it actually quite insulting. I find it even worse than they've done a purple and blue repaint of it. It's just, all they've done is change the hands and given him a spear. It's very poor, very poor. However, I must admit that for anyone who's gone back and watched my back catalogue of me being stupid on the interweb, over a year ago when I was doing my first ever videos, I already knew what my worst ever Transformer toy was, and I absolutely adore it just because I hate it so much. I think the first thing I'd need to say is that don't be afraid to hate your toys. Don't be afraid to dislike them, because disliking a toy for a certain bunch of reasons is just as good a reason to have it on your shelf as an oddity, as a piece of interest, as a piece of art, than having a really good toy on there. It's just as easy to have a 10-minute conversation with yourself about why you hate a toy as it is why you love one. So don't be afraid to hate them, and don't be afraid to get toys that you really don't like, because in order to have a decent collection, I think you need to have ups and downs and peaks and troughs, and you need to have good stuff and you need to have bad stuff. However, the baddest of the bad stuff, the bad-badder-adder-adder, even now it's not fitting, it's a Slave 1. It's a bit dusty. It's a Star Wars, it's an early Star Wars crossover, Boba Fett Slave 1. And let's go into why we hate this. Firstly, the reason I hate this as much as it is because it's a poor representation of what it is, because Boba Fett and Slave 1 are, for want of a better word, institutions. Star Wars is huge. I am a big Star Wars fan, okay? I make no bones about that. I like Star Wars. I love Transformers more, but I've always loved Star Wars, and it's just the history of it is immense, okay? So you can't really deny that. However, Slave 1 was probably the most quirky spaceship that had come out for a long time, because it didn't... You'd think it would fly like that, but it doesn't. It flies like that. The way the thrusters worked underneath, Boba Fett that went in it, all that sort of stuff was just leaps and bounds ahead of its time. So you'd expect the toy that came with it to be as close and as good as it could be, just to follow that whole mystery and ethos. Unfortunately, this is a wobbly piece of crap. Look, it's just flapping around all over the place. Shall we ever go at Transfer? I might sit and talk about it while I'm having a go. Now, I got this absolutely forever and a day ago. And I can't even remember why I got it. I think I wasn't into Transformers at the time. I was into Star Wars. And I've always had Transformers since I was a kiddie, and I always knew I loved them, and it was just interesting to get something that was slightly different. So that's why I bought him. And I loved him at the time. I mean, I don't buy crap. And alright, yes, you never know how good a figure is until you get home and open the box. But I was quite excited about having it. But then when I got it home, it comes in its Slave 1 mode, which I think is a filthy, rotten, dirty cheat. Because anyone who's going to play with this thing is going to realise in no time at all. Hang on, so let's do the head reveal. So that comes out the way, and then it's got... I'm not used to reviewing this way. I'm normally doing it with just my hands. Boba Fett head. I broke it. Oh no. Oh dear. Ah! Found it. Stay, good boy. It's got a good head mould. Good head sculpt, look at that. But look at the way that body, I mean, look at the way that body fits with that head and the shoulders. And look at the arms, this is going to become the arms. That folds out, hand fisty goes there, look. And then you fold that down. Ugh. Do the same on here, so foldy, foldy, straighty. Put all that up, bend that down. So I mean, the articulation's good, shoulder, good, elbow, good. Nothing at the wristy, but it's got a spinny there, but he looks pregnant, he looks fat. And with all this kibble at the back here, all this stuff, you fold that like that and that like that, and then put that in there, fold that down, and that sort of folds up. So let's face it, the engineering of this thing isn't too bad at all. But the actual workings of it are, now that folds like that, that goes like that, which means that's all going to tuck up like that. It's a bit tidier. And then to do his legs, you turn that, you pull the feet out. I'm doing it down here again, I'm sorry. I'm a weekend wrecker. And then you just sort of twist, wrestle that round. But then look, you've got this. What's that? That's not hips. And then the legs look like they're on sort of backwards. And then all you do is you take the guns off here and put that on there, and you take the other gun off like that and put that on there. And then you have Boba Fett Slave 1 Transformers toy. Now, that's quite poor, isn't it? It's not just me, is it? Is it? That's really, really poor. Oh. Oh. Doesn't want to fit. There we go. This was probably the 4th, 5th Transformer I bought when I was getting back into Transformerdom. So in many ways, this is kind of responsible for getting me in. Apparently we should be having some battery life issues. Oh dear. Where was I? Slave 1. This is probably going to be unbelievable. Keep looking at me on the viewfinder. You're probably going to find on Sundays that I look at you just off to that side because the viewfinder's over here. Excuse me. That's better. Okay, let's really talk about it. Proportionally, it's awful. It doesn't stand up on its own weight. Look at the size of the feet compared to the rest of the body. Feet, body, feet, body. It's not going to work. It's got a rocket that goes in his backpack. I lost a long time ago. I always lose my missiles. If you're one of these, I've got a missile from my 1984, whatever it was. Congratulations. I won't have those missiles anymore. I'm just not going to have them. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just the missile thing's all it's a bit juvenile. It's a bit of a crappy... What's it all about? I'd much rather they did some clever, intricate gun that didn't fire anything but sprouted out of itself. You know how on the animated Seekers, you make the arms have got the bits that go either side and then the gun comes up the top? A bit of automorph like that, a little bit of an animated gun where you can press something and it comes out of the sides, or put some more thought like that into it. I don't just want a shooty bang bang on the back that fires a crappy missile. Anyway, I've waffled plenty. That's my worst toy. I've really wanted to smash it on video a couple of times, but I can't get rid of it. It's just, if you've got a pinnacle of something that's just the best thing in your collection, I don't really know what's the best thing in my collection. I really haven't got a clue. I do know what the best thing in my collection is. Do you want to have a look? Would you like to see? Would you like to have a little look at the best thing in my collection? It's not very good lighting because I turned it on. Let me see if I can turn that around like that a little. There we go. Oh, he's over there, look. Oh, Universal Dominator Unicron. Now, yes, I've said a million times before that Unicron. Hang on, let me put you back. Unicron is without doubt. It was always my holy grail. It was all over Moonbase for a little while. Oh, I want a Unicron. Oh, I want a Unicron. And then I got a dead end that went with my Unicron, and then the stupid pricks in the house lost it. Moving out at the weekend, it doesn't matter, fuck 'em. So you've got that, and you need something to offset the glory of that. Which is that. And I think when I get in my new house, I've bought some shelving to put them on. It's very cheap. It was £14 for 4 shelves. I think it's made of the same plastic that the crappy little 6-year-old's chairs are made out of when you go to preschool. They're pretty crappy. I'm going to put them next to each other. They'll be they'll be the antithesis of each other. They'll be Galvatron to Rodimus. This is pretty much it. I think this is just my ramble. I'm really disappointed that my first ramble wasn't a better ramble, because I would have loved more time to be into it, and I would really have loved more opportunity to get it right. However, I've watched the 5 Awesome Transformers guys for quite a while. I've interacted with you all for quite some time. So when I was asked to be one, I just couldn't turn it down. And it's just a real, it's a real Gary Glitter that the whole Moving House thing has come along when it has. However, I really wanted to get a video out. I'm probably well over my waffle time now. So firstly, I'm not afraid to disagree with all of you. If I've got an opinion, I'm going to spout it out. I have told people off before, but I've done it in a playful way, and it's fine. It's all going to be part of the fun and games, don't worry about it. It will be from my mum and dad's loft. It's quite a nice little loft, but it is only a little loft. But it will be my little loft. And I'm missing Figure Death tonight, because it's Thursday and it's 5 Awesome Transformers guys, and I haven't got my own internet to read it on. And after that, smsno1, Sundays, 580G, Weekend Wreckers, Wrecker.